club. He started going back. I took my hand out. I wanted him to know I will kill his brother and him in a fucking hot minute. I wanted the other people to know who are in the war, we are ferocious, where we'll take you out. We are now the underdog, fighting for our lives. We're real fucking ferocious now. They had to know that. Fear would make us win this war. Not negotiations, fear. Killing people, bodies. Then nobody would defy us, nobody would fuck with us.
The fuck shot up, bro.
Basically, we didn't even need bodies.
On Ethereum.
They were falling apart. Nobody wanted to fuck with us. We called DBN, and Frankie the Chico said something to him. He put his head down and he didn't want to talk. I don't want to talk right now, Frankie. I'll talk with you at another time. Frankie said, no, you won't. You don't want to talk in front of Sammy? Talk. He said, Louis Melito betrayed us a long time ago, before the head. He joined with Paul and Tommy. He didn't tell them about your plans, but he joined them. He was playing the fence. He was playing that if they win, he's on their side. If you guys win, he's on your side. It came to me about a hit with Jackie, how he had control, that he made Paul order me to kill somebody I didn't want to kill. It all came together. Immediately in my head, bang, I knew it. Frankie the Chico told me, the minute he comes out, he was in prison. He didn't get a long bit, but he was away a little while. All through all this growling and planning stages, he was gone. He never sent us a message, like other people in prisons were sending us messages, we love you guys, we're with you. He didn't send a message. So Frankie said, the minute he comes out, we're gonna kill him. I said, Frankie, please. I go back a long time with him. His daughter sits on my lap, calls me Uncle Sammy. I call her Princess. I know the whole family. I'll talk to Sammy. This is not open for a discussion. As soon as he comes home, we're gonna kill him. Simple. Okay. Okay. I'll get back to that. What happened? It was one thing after the other. We had another meeting. Joe Watts is talking, there's John Gotti, there's me, there's Frankie the Chico. And Joe Watts says, we gotta kill Joey Bellotti, Tommy's brother. He's got a big crew, all his brother's crew now. There's a lot of them. We gotta kill him, and we can take over Staten Island, and he talks about all these money things. I couldn't help myself. I said, bro, we're gonna start killing people for money now? Is that what the fuck we're gonna do? Joey Bellotti is a friend of ours. He's a good guy. He knows the life, he understands the life. His brother was with Paul. His brother was a fucking hot-on. His brother had 9 kids. He's got 9 kids. We don't need to kill him. I think Joe Watts is talking about money. Not about who's with them. Nobody's with them. I agree, he's a tough guy. Joe was the boss, Frankie the Chico was the underboss. I was immediately made captain. John said, Sam, if we put him with a captain, he is a dangerous guy, he is a tough guy, no doubt about it. I said, I know that. But I think if we start killing people for money and we start killing people for no fucking reason, we're doomed. Frankie the Chico immediately butt in, said, I agree with Sam. Well, where are we gonna put him? Put him with me. I trust him. I'll go talk to him. Frankie says, I agree with Sammy. I'll go with Sammy to call him in and talk to him. Okay. I make an appointment with him. He's gonna meet me in a Greek diner, me and Frankie. We go there. He's super nervous, I could see it. I know him a long time. He's nervous. I immediately open up my jacket, and there's a gun under my belt. I said, Joey, how long do you know me? A lot of years, Sammy. If I was here to kill you, you think you'd be alive now? No. I'm here to save you. You got 9 kids, your brother's got 9 kids. You got a lot of things to keep your family together. You'll be under me. I'll take care of you. Frankie the Chico interrupted and said, I'm here because I would hurt you in a minute. I came here because he saved you, and that's what I'm telling you. He saved you. You'll be under him. Joey relaxed a little bit, nodded to Frankie. He had tremendous respect for Frankie, obviously. I said, listen, Joey, if I call you 3 o'clock in the morning, I tell you to meet me in the weirdest place in a fucking basement, come. If you don't, I will kill you. I won't touch you, I won't hurt you. Be with me, be a man. Take care of your family. I'm gonna be your man. People try and take advantage because they think you're on the burn or you're in trouble because your brother got killed. Show them that you're Cosa Nostra. And I'll talk for you with every fucking situation you got. And I've done that on a number of occasions. I'll get to it later. So Joey Bellotti was now with me, under me, directly with me. I wasn't the Gunzier yet. I was just a full-blown coward. There's so many other issues, and I'll get to them. There's so many other stories. But we controlled the family. We were muscling other families. I really don't think that John thought he could take out Paul alone, like people say they make him up. If he did, why would he come to me? Why would he come to Frankie?
All right, guys, I'm still here.
Why would he go to Joe
I got my phone in my hand.
To DB? Why would he go to Joe Gallo? He would have just took him out. Paul
Wait, how the fuck do you manage all the comments if you're streaming everything at the same time?
Of all bosses. If the commission goes against you, you have the commission. You have the captains in the family. You have he had tight relationships with Italy, Sicily, basically. He had the Westies. Too much. And the choices he made, really, Joe Piney was an old-timer. Joe Gallo was a betrayer. DB had no power. The 2 powerhouses he needed was Frankie the Chico and me. Without us, he could never have us on the other side. He could never. He could kill him. You could shoot anybody you want, but he could never win. He would be killed. He'd be slaughtered. Him and his whole crew, and he knew that. We chose him for the boss. It was his problem. We didn't want the fucking heat that would come off of it. And the other reason mainly is that Frankie the Chico told me, which made sense, John has an ego like the Empire State Building. He could never be my underboss. We'll have problems right away. I could be his underboss, and me and you could be the power behind the throne. He gave me a perfect answer for why John. I didn't want John to be the boss. He created this monster. He's responsible for everybody who dies in this fucking war. But Frankie made sense to me. It was a brilliant Cosa Nostra move. and I went along with it 100%. I didn't want Tato involved in this in any way, shape, or form. I felt he was old school like Neil. He wouldn't agree with it. Matter of fact, right after it was done, I was in the car with Tato. The hit happened already. He's one of the first guys I saw. So he said, this might be the end of Cosa Nostra.
Getting better, I'm feeling like I'm clever, but I'm doing it feeling like niggas in the wind. When you go in the penny pass down,
that I was part of this thing. His instincts, his wisdom, for me to be that sure that he wouldn't be hurt.
Oh, this shit's dope, bro.
You know, all he did was turn around and tell me, you'll have to not trust anyone, Sammy, from this point on. You'll have to be careful.
I'm about to piss my pants, guys.
There's power plays.
God. Oh,
what I want to do is make an appointment with John and Frankie for me. For what? It's time for me to step down.
Oh, it's this one.
I don't want to be this part of Cosa Nostra. These years ahead.
Cosa Nostra?
I want to be there for you. These young guys should take over now.
Let them take it. Let them go. Fuck them. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
nah, fuck them.
You're convinced I'm part of this.
The fuck is a widget theme, bro?
You're not?
How do you fucking... I'm gonna figure it out, guys. It's gonna be dope, okay?
You'll never be hurt. I made the appointment for him. They asked why. I said, I don't know. He wants to step down, I think. He met with them alone without me and said he wants to step down. It's time for him to step down and for us young guys to take over and do our thing. These things happen very rarely, but they do happen. He said, Frankie DeChico told him, do you want to be with us, the administration? No. I want to be, my position be taken by Sammy. And I want to be with him. That's fine. We accept your resignation as a Gabardine, and from today on, Sammy will be a Gabardine, and you'll be under him. When I heard he wanted to step down, I said, Tato, there's no reason for you to step down. I told you, I got you. I'm going to be a Gabardine. I have that commitment. You don't need to step down. He says, I already did. And they'll talk to you. I'm under you. When I met them, they made me a Gabardine. They put him with me, all in one same meeting. So the reason I didn't tell him in advance is I know he was old school. I knew he would be like Neil, and I didn't want him to be in that position. I didn't want him to be in. But think of hurting him. He had no involvement, no part in it. That's why I didn't tell him. But I always had his back. If you kill Tato, they all knew. You better kill me. I can see Tato's face now again. Just chokes me the fuck up.
Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, 1985, before the hit on Paul.
Give me this fucking kid. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna kill him. And I'm gonna chop him in 15, 20 different fucking pieces spread his body all over Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. It's exactly what the fuck I'll do. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. I don't give a fuck who he's with. The minute I find him or see him, I'm gonna kill him, and I'm gonna kill whoever the fuck he's with.
For the first time ever, Sammy the Bull Gravano tells his story. This is our thing. Staten Island, 1984.
Paul was more of a racketeer. He was into different businesses all over the place. Plus, he was the boss of the family, and he became the boss of bosses. He took a liking to me for those reasons, and he started including me in different things and asking me questions from different times. I had originally came from the Colombo family. He knew that I did a piece of work, but now he found out that I understood business and unions, and I had told him I had just had gone partners with this guy for Joe Madonia from Ace Partitions. It was a drywall company. It was totally non-union, and I would go in and get jobs, but I'd always have trouble with unions. The carpenters union. And sometimes I was able to bribe the delegates or whoever came down, but sometimes I had problems with them, especially when I went into the Bronx. So he told Tato, my captain, take him to go see Chid. They have people who are controlling the carpenters unions. So Tato did that. He took me to a club. I met Chid. He wasn't the boss at that time. Fat Tony Solano was the boss. I believe he was a high-ranking captain or something like that. He actually took me and Tato over to somebody who was there, I don't remember his name, and introduced him. He was the consigliere. His brother Mario Gigante was a captain. His other brother, Carmine Gigante, was a made guy. He had an army around him, and I understood he was extremely powerful. He wasn't the boss, but you could consider him like a street boss. When I told him my problem with the Carpenters Union, he told me there's a guy, Fat Vinny DiNapoli. He's not a friend of ours, meaning he's not a made guy, but he controls the Carpenters Union, especially in the Bronx, where they're doing all this rehab and HUD work and stuff like that. He said, let me talk with Fat Vinny, and I don't think you'll have a problem anymore. And we left. A couple of days later, I got a message that a guy named Vinny DiNapoli, Fat Vinny, wanted to see me. And I went to meet him in the Bronx. He took me on the side and he said, Sammy, I spoke with Mario. Mario gave me messages about you. I'm gonna take care of you. Every job you have, let me know where it is. Nobody will ever come to the job. You could run non-union out here. Just put it on record with me so at least I know when I could cover you in advance, not when there's a problem. Before there's a problem, you'll never have a problem. So I thought that was great. And it made me closer to Paul. I actually thought he was the best thing since sliced bread. He was very fair, he was very open and sociable. I liked him a lot. I became a made member under him, so I recognized him as the boss, the father of the family, my father. So my allegiance to him was extremely strong. There's many, many incidents that I was doing jobs, and before you know it, he was starting to use me to talk to this union guy or that union guy. And the more I got that heavily involved in the business, my street smarts, and what I did in my prior life as a kid growing up, in and out of construction and different trades. I started to understand it, and my reputation was growing, and I started using that as well. I was pushing on unions. We controlled the Teamsters Union in New York. The Teamsters was the people, when there's a construction site, the gate that goes around the entire building, the guy who stands in front and opens the gate so all the trucks, the cement trucks and everybody goes in, is a Teamster foreman. So I was starting to meet Teamster foremans, delegates, and people. John Cody, who was an Irish guy, was directly with Paul Castellano, and he controlled that union. So I was becoming very, very powerful. And I started opening up one company after the other. I understood business in a different way. I understood it as a street guy growing up, as a working guy. And I started learning different things from Paul Castellano. He was brilliant. He had great ideas on how to do things and how to control things. And don't bully people, don't do that. There's different ways of doing it. And I learned. I was like a sponge, sitting next to him, occasionally in the house a lot. I got to know the maid. Tommy Bellotti, I got to know him well. He was his driver. He became a captain right away. Rough type of guy, a real bully type of guy, actually. I knew him before. They had a club, Crescido's, in Staten Island, him and his brother Joey Bellotti. And as a kid, I went to that way before I got made. So I knew them from there. And I knew they were pretty powerful guys. And I got along with them pretty well, knowing them before, starting to know them now. But Paul, getting back to Paul, when Christmas came, I was invited to come up at Christmas time. A lot of captains, acting captains, some maid guys, mostly guys who were around him on a more day-to-day basis that he was using. Not everybody in the family. I believe one year on Christmas, I went there with my wife. I think my wife was in shock when she walked into this house. Not because of the size of the house or how beautiful it was, the people that were there. My wife wasn't used to mafia. She really didn't have a major understanding of it. She had an uncle who was a maid guy, but she hardly knew him, Bayonne Joe. He was made in by the Bonanno people. And but he was in prison most of her life. So she really didn't know him well. And seeing all these guys, I mean, I kept my business very private. She knew my friends, who were street thugs with me, but this was a different type of level. And when we got home, she asked me, why did he invite you to this party? I said, listen, Deb, I wash his car every once in a while, okay? So he likes the idea I make it nice and clean. I didn't want to talk to her about it. So she started laughing, joking, and that's what I do. I just pushed it off. That's the kind of relationship I was starting to have with him. I went to many, many sit-downs. He sent me to a sit-down when they had the Concrete Club, and he sent me there. Again, I was never a captain at that point. And he sent me to this meeting, and there was all bosses in there. Fat Tony was in there. Tony Ducks was in there. Jerry Lang was there to represent the Colombo family. And they all talked to me about the Concrete Club. And they were great. Fat Tony especially made jokes of it. You're a young guy, you're a good-looking guy. Why don't you go out with the broads? What are you doing with us old farts and whatever? Tony Ducks also said, listen, Sammy, I see you're nervous a little bit. We know that Paul sent you here. So when we're talking to you, when we look at you, right now, you're a boss. You're Paul to us. Speak your mind. Don't be nervous. It was a great meeting. I didn't do a lot of talking. I didn't voice what I really wanted to voice. I had respect for them. They were giants to me. I went back to Paul's house and Paul said, how'd the meeting go? I said, it went great. This is what they said. This is how they treated me. He said, they're good guys. He said, what's your opinion of this whole thing? They were going to use all of their union power. Every family had different unions. Use their power to control all the jobs, over $2 million concrete jobs in New York. So this is, what do you think? You want my honest opinion? Of course. We're all going to go to jail.